hosted by myself, Roby Harris, the president of CFI, and Jessica James, a well-known veteran of the cleaning and restoration industry.
Thanks, Roby. Good evening, everybody. My name is Jessica James, and I've been in the cleaning and restoration industry my entire life with a family-owned business. In 1982, my brother and I took over our carpet cleaning and restoration company, and I've been affiliated with the CFI since about 1990. Tonight, I want to talk to you a little bit, or you're going to be talking to us a little bit about the Single Truck Success Program. I want to show you, or I want to thank you for joining us as we talk about the Single Truck Success Program, and we interview our panelist, Steve Marsh. Whether you have one truck or whether you have 10 trucks, Steve is going to show us how you can realistically net about 200 grand a year from each truck. Now, both Roby and I are true advocates of this program because early on in our careers building our businesses, we actually went through the Single Truck Success programs and have built very successful businesses for ourselves. So, Steve, thank you for joining us this evening. Can you tell the audience a little bit about the Single Truck Success program? You know, who the training is designed for, why a company would want to use the program. You know, why is this program so phenomenal at making profits?
Well, thank you, first of all, very much for having me as your initial guest to your launch of Success Wisdom. It's a privilege to join you guys. I've been looking forward to this opportunity. And I think this is really great what CFI is doing, providing these webinars of, you know, all different topics. And I'm really excited for you. And again, it's going
to be a great time.
I think so. Yes, it was actually, I think that seminar that you were holding up was originally produced about 17 years ago. And what I was doing is I was finding that a lot of carpet cleaners were topping out of their business, netting about $50,000 per truck. Now, remember, this was back 17 years ago. And I had been able to take my business to netting over $100,000 with just myself. And people wanted to know, well, how are you doing that? And so when I originally put together that 6-hour seminar, that was to show people you don't have to hire somebody at that point to make more money, that you can do it by yourself. And so that was sort of the starting of this. So the program that CFI has available to all of its members is really the Single Truck Success System, because we've added a whole bunch of things to that original seminar that you had purchased way back. And
now, are you going to go over some of those things tonight for us?
That's the hope. Yep.
Awesome.
And so we've gone way beyond, you know, just getting it to, you know, netting $100,000 for a one truck, one owner business. Is now we're up over 200,000 is very realistic. For anybody who's living in any decent sized city in the US, you should be able to pull that off. So that's what we're going to talk a little bit about today, and kind of what goes into this system that I think is very unique, and I think is going to hopefully find, you know, people who are trying to get started in business. We have something very special about how to get them launched in a matter of months instead of years. The thing that sort of makes this program, it's step by step. It's not magic. And we just lay out all of the steps. And so to get you from zero to making profit, which I define as paying both your business and personal bills. Jessica, how long do you think the average business takes to get to that point?
Oh gosh, before it's paying its bills and making a profit? From my experience, especially working and consulting with other businesses, it's usually several years before you can get to that point. And that's with no help. So I'm sure your program is going to boost that right along, as both of us, Roby and I, have learned.
That's
Absolutely.
the hope. And the other problem that I saw was for decades, the U.S., government measures, the success of business. And they have found that, we see only 15 companies out of 100 get to the point of being successful.
Wow.
That's an 85% failure rate. Now, this is small companies, it's large companies, but that's just horrible. And that actually seems to be what the figure is for all of the businesses starting up that I've observed in my years of being in this industry. So there's some things that they're sort of missing out on. But I want to go back to your question was, who is this for? It's for startup companies. It's for those companies who want to stay a small business. That's why I named it Single Truck Success. 85% of the carpet cleaning companies in this country are mom and pop single truck operations. And everybody's always like marketing, oh, you can have, 10 trucks and put your feet up and make $1 zillion and don't have to work hard. And I go, I'm going to talk to the mass of the people that, no, it's just me. I'm not good at holding down their jobs. I don't play well with others, so I wasn't a good corporate person. And but the principles apply to a company of absolutely any size. And actually, I would encourage companies that have more than one truck, think of each truck as an individual business. Because listen to this strategy. So you have a successful single truck and you say, oh, I want to keep growing. What does the person do? He takes that single truck, brings on another one, and now he has 2 non-profitable trucks. You go, no, you keep that one truck profitable. You don't touch its clientele except maybe take the overflow, and you start a whole new business with this second truck. And when you do that, you can actually have 2 different pay scales, pricing scales, all sorts of things open up. And I think if you look at it and you say, how can I make the most money possible from each vehicle? And then you keep having more and more successful trucks, and then you bring on a new one and you start it just like a brand new business. So even though you have 10, 15 trucks, you should be looking at each truck under the single truck success system. And so that's what I'm going to try to cover a little bit tonight.
If I recall, the system had 4 categories that really broke running a business down so that you could easily run your business by taking, I forget, I think it was like 99 steps to get to being successful in a very short amount of time. Are you going to talk about those categories and those steps this evening?
Well, if you like, what I can do is actually take you to the website. That again, this is available to all CFI members. And one of the things, Roby, you were talking about that there's an introductory offer. And what we tried to do is to make it so inviting that a new business, whatever, you can get in for $10. I can't.
Yeah, why not?
That price. That blows me away for 3 months. And, if that's all you want to pay, suck this program dry. Listen to every seminar, every bit of training, go through all the steps, be making $1 zillion and say, hey, I don't need this program anymore. I don't need the CFI, support and all of the great webinars and other things that are going to be available. And you can quit and you get it all for $10. And if you follow the steps, you should be able to do it in right about 3 months. Go from brand new to making profit. In other words, your net worth is no longer going backwards. And the other thing that a lot of new companies, struggle with is they think they have all the time in the world. And what happens is when you're starting a business, you generally stop a job that you were getting paid before, and you have this burden of business expenses, and nobody else is, unless you have a working, a spouse who's bringing in all the money, but you're going backwards and you're using up all your savings, you're going into debt to make it possible. So there is a real urgency is to get to that break-even point as quickly as possible. Because otherwise, if you take years, you're going to be years in debt and just to try to get out of it. So you want to do that as quickly as possible. And that's one of the great things that this system just gives you an easy process to do it truly in a matter of months.
Yeah, that's what I don't understand. A lot of people, when I coming up, we started off, really slow. We had used equipment. A lot of the guys, they think that because they want to start a business, they got to start with all brand new stuff. They get out there and they have no clients. So now they have this $80,000 truck and van, and they sit in the parking lot and it just looks all shiny and new, but they're not working. So how do you get clients? That's the whole thing, is to get the clients before you buy all your equipment. So someone that is looking to get into the cleaning industry, this is a perfect program for them, because it helps you pick up your clients before you even start working. Before you even buy your equipment, you have your clientele ready and prepares them for you to come. So
let's show CFI members some of the benefits that they can reap by exploring this program.
Absolutely.
What I'm going to do is actually take you to the program. And the way you get there originally is you're going to go into the CFI website, which is cficonnects.org, and you're going to go to the store. And if you're already a member, either have been a member or you have this startup offer that they have, you go to the store and go down to the very bottom of that page, and it will say Single Truck Success Program, and you click on that, and that'll let you into the program. So if technology works for me, I'm going to take us to that. All right. And this is where you'll end up. And you'll have to sign up again specifically for Single Truck Success. And you're going to give it information, because you're going to start shaping this. And what I hope you'll see is this whole website is interactive, and it's going to guide you through how to build your business and to make your business more successful. And so if you notice at the top, this is what we call the dashboard. Or actually, when you first show up, it's going to give you a kind of a heads up of what to do. So it's the getting started checklist. And what you do is you go through and you say, watch the Getting Started audio seminar, which is the Single Truck Success seminar that Jessica was holding up earlier. Then there's another video on how to get jobs. And then there's another one on how to clean like a pro. Now, if you're new in business or whatever, I taught the CCT class, the 2-day carpet cleaning class, for 15 years. And what I did is I condensed all of that great training that was in 2 days down to a 93-minute video. And so this will teach you everything you need to know. We deal with pile reversal, we deal with spots and stains and how you get it out, how you deal with the customers and the whole process through it in 93 minutes. And so actually, if you were to memorize that 93 minutes of me talking, you would probably know more than 95% of the carpet cleaners out there. And that's all it is. Just keep playing it over and over, and you can take over my classes.
So I kind of want to point out, not only does the Single Truck Success Program discuss the business aspects of performing carpet cleaning and building your business, but it talks about the technical aspects as well, how to actually perform the services. So it's a full burrito package. You get everything, the works.
That's a good way to describe it. Kind of going down the checklist, and as soon as you do these, there's a little box that you can check to say, hey, I've done this. This allows you to move on. So you can. I've always run my life on checklists, and I start off my day and I have my checklist of 10 items or whatever, and I go through and I get certain emotional pleasure from checking off each thing. Matter of fact, if I do something that's not on my list, I write it on the list just so I can check it off. So anyway, that's motivating to me, and that's how I designed this. it also helps you move along. And once you accomplish it, and you've done what the task is requiring you to do, you move on to the next one. You don't have to specialize in it. You just get it done. And I'm going to show you what these are. But this intro, then it says explore the website. Then the next one is go through all of the tasks. And there are 99 tasks. That seems like a lot to some people, but to make more money than the job you had before, I can do 99 things. Just do one a day, and that's almost 3 months, and you got it. And then watch the featured training under each of the categories. And then at the when you're doing that, then you go back, and whichever the task you have not completed yet, you would start saying, which one do I want to do next? And when you're all done with that, you can check that off, and you're back to your dashboard. There's really 5 main pages that we're going to review here. But what you come in every time is to the dashboard. And as you start filling in and doing these tasks, what will happen is you can see here on the right-hand side, this was my company. So one of the tasks is to name your company. Now, most of you have been in business. You probably have a name, Joe's Carpet Cleaning or whatever. Mine was Magic Wand Services. And so when you fill that in the task, this is sort of what I tell my clients, my coaching clients. I say, you should have your goals up on the mirror, that you see them every morning as you're brushing your teeth. That focuses you on what you're trying to accomplish. So this is your mirror. And I want you to come in this every day. So you put your logo in there, and then here's your goals. What's your goal that you're shooting for? So here I just put in 130,000 a year. What's your monthly revenue at this point in time, so you know where you are, and say 14,000. And then what's your average invoice? And you fill that in. And then the current number of customers that you might have at this time. If you're just getting started, it's my mother, 1. And so you want to see that number going up. And this is just that you want to keep your eye on it. So it's the thing to keep you focused.
Hey, Steve.
Yeah.
We have a question from Benjamin. Benjamin wants to know, how long does it really take to complete all of these tasks? Like, does it really take just 3 months, or can it take longer? Can it take shorter? What is the average that somebody could complete these tasks and start building a better business?
Well, I'm thinking of having a competition of who can do it the fastest, and depending, on kind of different levels of where you're starting. But if you were to do just one of these tasks, like name your company, another one is, what's your phone number? I mean, how hard are these? Can you do one of those a day? I mean, and at the end, because when they talk about that you're building a business, that's what you're doing. You're putting the bricks in, and each one of these tasks is a brick into building your profitable company. And you do that, at the end of it, you will have all of the customers you need. And that's what I'll show you kind of how we're going to, what the strategy is behind that. But it will all work together. But so Benjamin, as quickly as you want to, you can get through it. If somebody was brand new, did not know how to clean carpets, and had no customers, if you were to follow it and pay attention to the 2 things that are going to be time consuming, I think the other 97, steps, in a sense, it's not quite that many. Part of these are the marketing, can be done in a matter of like a week or 2, if you can just sit there and get these things done. But what takes time is learning the cleaning skill. And the other thing is to build your clientele. I mean, the sources, to get enough so that your schedule is full, because that's the key thing. We want to do that as quickly as possible. And that you can have a full schedule in a matter of a couple of months. And I'm going to show you a little bit about that. The program goes into great depth. There's all these videos and everything that talk about it. And I'll show you more. But these are, here on the dashboard, these are the key videos. And then as soon as you watch it again, just go up and then click the box. I'll let you know you've done that one, because you're going to start forgetting which one's which. You will want to go back and watch these videos multiple times. Single Truck Success isn't a video, it's an audio seminar. So you want to, yeah, again, I hope I keep you company while you're driving between jobs, for a long time.
I remember that.
There you go. And there are four
Me
basic.
too.
Yeah, I know, Roby, you've listened to a whole lot of me.
Yeah. I think my favorite one is when you were up there in Grants Pass. I think that's on the first single truck that you have out.
Yeah, that was a live seminar.
So yeah, that was a good.
Was that your first seminar?
That was the one that we recorded for the Single Truck Success was from Portland. I think it's on the third CD, the third section, that you actually hear a truck mount running in the background. I just see we're right in the middle of it there.
Wasn't it at like an airport or something like that?
Nope, that was at a dealer.
A dealer? Yeah, it was good.
There are four categories. When we grow up in America and we go through the educational system, we are trained to become good employees. And I think that is the problem with why we have so many companies that fail, is we have, I'm going to call it brainwashed, how we think. And we have been shown to, look at this. We come to school. What do? We stand in line in kindergarten and all stand at attention, quiet. And then we march into our class. We get into our seat and we sit there. We don't talk. We don't ask questions. We just absorb information, right? And we go all the way through school. And what they do is tell you, we're going to teach you how to be a specialist in this one thing. And whatever your job is, you're looking at a little sliver of what is being done in the whole corporation. And we're trained that you show up to work, you get a paycheck, no matter if you accomplished anything or not. And so, and then what did you don't invest in you showed up. I get paid for showing up. These are all the things that don't work well if you're the owner. The owner has to think of the whole company. And that's why we have it broken into four categories here. You have to think about the strategy. What are the executives? What's the board of directors of a corporation pondering? This is choosing, who your clientele is going to be. How much are you going to charge? What services are you offering? And then the next part is the business part, the admin part. This is the part I personally have a very big dislike for. This is doing the billing. It's the data entry. It's the answering the phones. It's sending out the, marketing materials and the follow-up. But anyway, it has to be done. So I'm responsible for it. I don't necessarily have to do it, but somebody does, and it's my job to make sure it gets done. Then there's the part that most we get trained to do from the education system is we focus in on operations. And even if people ask you, what do you do? Oh, I'm a carpet cleaner. No, you're a business owner. The carpet cleaner is the guy you might hire, but you have to take care of it. But this is an important part. So you have to learn the skill. You have to have the systems. You have to have the equipment. So that's a part of the business. And then the part where most people are clueless on is, okay, so you say you're the world's greatest carpet cleaner. You need customers. So part of the business is marketing. That's what gets you your customers and keeps you in touch with them. So it's those four categories, and these steps fall into all of these different categories. And so if you go down to the bottom of any page, if you ever get lost, you just go to the bottom of the page and there's these four categories, and you would click on that, and that takes you into the other page.
Can we explore some of these categories a little bit for the audience so they can see what the categories are, what the steps are, what, how we progress through the program?
Well, all right. Well, for you, Jessica.
They're going to pay their $10. What do they get?
What do they get? Okay, well, let's click on one of these things. So this is the strategy. And this is the thing. Let me see here. Okay, I got to say.
Kaboom.
Boom. What's it? Okay, there we go. I have too many things working on my Wi-Fi here right now, so it works a little slow. So here are, here's the page. And this is we're looking at the strategy. So this top bar here says we're in strategy, and we're looking at the one-time tasks. So we're looking at those 99 tasks that we have to complete. And then later on, we'll come back and we'll look at, there's also special training that you should then pay attention to that also, because this all goes to build more information. The tasks are things we accomplish. The training are things you need to learn. So the training, you want to really go into that and get that down and make that part of you. Again, we're trying to brainwash you to be an owner. And so that's what I'm trying to do in a lot of this training is think like an owner, not the employee. You do that, success becomes a whole lot easier. So here we're under, again, strategies. So there are 3 subcategories here. So there's the financial, and you see there's 4, you see how many tasks we have there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tasks. The shape of the business, so I click on that subcategory. And here we have, a bunch more tasks. Anything that has an asterisk by it means it's really important and you really want to focus in, get that done as soon as possible. When
you click on one of those, does more information come up to lead you through that specific task?
Yeah, actually, let's look at the vision statement. So here, now you have your instructions for whatever that task is. So it says, use the sample vision statement to develop your personal vision statement. Post this in a spot where it can be viewed on a regular basis. And the more details you can provide, the more helpful it will be. And then what you do is you go down here, here's the resource that you need. You can click on that vision statement and that becomes your worksheet. And then you can actually type it in and modify it here. And this is my example of what that vision statement would look like. And then as soon as you're done, you would check the completed box. And then you go down here where it says save my program. That's very important. You got to click that. Otherwise, when you go to another page, whatever changes you made in there will disappear. So you got to get in that little habit of checking this box to make sure your check mark and whatever you fill in stays permanent. You forget that once after you spent an hour on it, and you'll learn not to do that.
Yeah, I got to work on that 6-week vacation time. Yeah.
That's an important part of it.
It's very important. I need to work on that.
So you close it off again, click on it and it disappears. Then you just go down to another one. Now, again, whichever order you go in almost doesn't make any difference. So you feel like, what kind of mood? Am I looking for something easy? And you should go through and kind of glance at all of these steps when you're first, that was one of that on that opening to-do list, is just to go through and see what they are. And then whichever ones you've already accomplished, check them off and then forget about them. They're done. None of these you should ever have to go back to. And then you just say, what's left? And then down at the bottom of each page, this is your progress bar. So when you're just getting started and you say, okay, we're going to be in the carpet cleaning industry and we're going to clean carpets and upholstery and add protector and we're going to charge this price and this, pretty soon this green line starts going across until all of those checklist items have been taken care of, been checked off. So it's kind of your visual, how are we doing on this thing? How many of the 99 have we done? And so that's what it is down at the bottom. That's our encouragement. I was talking to Jessica before and we were thinking, we were talking about some video game that we were playing. And when you filled in the right word, it goes, fantastic, outstanding, awesome. We should put a few of those in here too.
There we go.
The third subcategory is value. And this is where it says, to come up with your price, the price for the upholstery. Are you going to do protector? How fast are you going to clean? That's what I call a cleaning pace. So each one of these, again, you click on it, it will then give you your task to accomplish. And as soon as you've accomplished it, you check it off. And on some of these, it's going to say, what are you charging per square foot? And is it cleanable space? And you'd fill that in. And then all of this information will be stored in here on your personalized program. Where that comes in handy is if you have a business coach or somebody helping you with the business, you can like let them see the screen and all this information will be stored here, testimonials, all this other stuff. This is meant to be your workbench. And so fill in that information. Don't let it get scattered all around. And it will make the rest of your life go a whole lot easier. Should we look at another one?
Yeah, you know, we've got a lot of information on how to build the business. I think everybody's always interested on, you know, in how can I market my business? How can I capture clients? What's the best way to move about capturing clients? Do you have some of that information, or can you show the, I know you got it there. Can you show the audience some of that information as well?
Well, what I wanted to show before we get off of the, what do we call this? The strategies division is there is, again, single truck success. And here's also the workbook that goes with that. So you can click on this and download that and print it out. Sometimes that helps you. Again, this becomes a workbook that you can put a lot of this information in, and you can go back and find the different parts you want to review. But you wanted to go to marketing. So you go down.
Wait, you know what? Before we pop over there, I just saw a question pop up in the chat box. Yeah. And that was a question from Charlene, our past president. And she's asking, why is service territory so important?
Why is, well,
big question.
Okay, I worked, my business was in the San Francisco Bay Area, Silicon Valley, essentially. And I had a job scheduled, my days scheduled one time where I had a partner and we had 4 jobs scheduled for the day. And we ended up, it was like in the 4 corners of the South San Francisco Bay Area. We were in the furthest corners. And we spent over 2 hours just driving between those 4 jobs. And it was just an insane day. And sometimes when you get started, you might be having a territory that's out a little further. You might have friends, relatives, something like that, that you'll go a little bit outside of your area. But as you start to develop your business to become more efficient, you start making that territory get smaller and smaller and smaller. And toward the end, as I got my business, you know, well on the way and profitable, I would it was probably 85 to 90% of my jobs were within 10 minutes of where I lived.
Wow.
Now, I did move to very close to my target market, but so it's kind of like I had practically no time driving, and that gives you more time for either personal life or to put an extra job in to do all the other things. So time is one of your most precious assets. So restricting your travel area goes a long way. In the beginning, you take whatever you can get, but as you go along, you want to start thinking, can I get that closer and closer?
And Steve, I'm going to back that up with some information that you actually gave to my brother and I when we were running our company. We had a multi-truck company. We were running 12 trucks at our peak. And I remember you always told us, treat each one like its own company. So we kind of took that information, and when we were running all of our trucks, each of them basically ran a service area that they were dedicated to. And that made running, you know, multiple trucks profitable, just like running a single truck company profitable. So you're not, you know, stretching yourself out too far.
Yes,
so it's not only just for that single truck.
Individual territories, because I've seen them cross over and you go, what are you doing where you're going in somebody else's area? They were right there, you know. And for a while, my wife worked with me in the business, and she was my admin doing all that stuff I so much love to do. And she was scheduling, and because we scheduled weeks in advance, she was able to look and say, when a customer called up, she would know, where does this person live? And she would schedule all of the ones in San Jose, in that certain part of San Jose, on a particular day. And if a customer called up and says, when's the soonest you can get there? She knows where they live. And he says, well, we're not going to be out there until such and such a day. And when you're scheduling in advance, that gives you that flexibility. So there were some times I would literally drive around the block or just go across the street to do a job. And she was very good. Her background was in sales. And so if we had a certain job, we knew another customer is coming up on this time to do it. And she would call up that customer and says, Steve's going to be across the street at Mary's house on Thursday in 2 weeks. Do you want Steve to come over and do yours? And she would normally, yeah, sure. And so it would be going right across the street. You just go, Now, every once in a while, I would look at the schedule and go, what? I'm driving 15 minutes to get there. And it was somebody canceled at the last minute and she had to fill it, but there's an art to this.
So what in the program, what are the ways of not always calling somebody to remind them, hey, Steve's going to be in your area? Was there a way that you kept up with your clients?
Yeah, that's what, part of the marketing is, we'll spend a little bit of time on this. We only have a limited amount today, but here I'm now in the marketing. I went down to the bottom of the page and clicked on the marketing section. That's what Jessica wants. And so here we are. And this is broken up into subcategories because you want to focus in on a particular, as you're trying to accomplish these tasks, do the ones that are similar to each other. Sometimes it's easier than just bouncing all over the place, at least from my mind. So the subcategories are printed materials, your website, branding, the company image, customers, the components, in other words, the different parts that you're going to need for your marketing, and social review sites. The other place too is you really want to pay attention to this video. This one is source-based marketing. And, we could spend a couple of hours just giving you the overview. With source-based marketing, first of all, if you go read, these are, I think there's 4 articles in this one that I did for Clean Facts describing source-based marketing. What most people do is they think, here they have this expensive truck, like Roby was talking about, and it's costing them monthly a lot of money. And they're sitting there watching TV at home because their phone's not ringing. And what people say is, I need jobs. And so this one guy I was talking to had been in business for, I think, 6 or 7 years. And I was having coffee with him. And he says, Steve, I need more jobs. And I looked at him, I go, Bob, what did you do with all the ones you had? And so he had the wrong thinking. He's thinking of customers. What you want to do in this whole source-based marketing is you're not looking for individual customers. You're looking for sources of customers. So sources might be Yelp. It could be Google, pay-per-click. There's hundreds, if not thousands of potential customers are sources of customers. So a source, once you get that, you say that source provides 5 jobs a month, or maybe 1 every 5 months. So there's different volumes of customers you're going to get from it, but you don't want to think of the individual customer. You want to think of, I need more sources of customers. And the 2 best sources are repeat and referral. And what we're looking to do is make it so 85 to 90% of our jobs come in from repeat and referral. That's a source. So once you have those developed, those just keep coming in every month after month after month. Resource, new customers being referred in. But when you are just starting out in business, you have no customers, so there's no referrals and there's no repeat yet. So when you're first starting out, you have to look at, how do I get the first customers? And you have to advertise. And that's what this source-based marketing, everything you need to know about marketing, this one here in particular is going to go into great depth on how do you get those customers in all the different ways. And a lot of our marketing these days, when I got started in business, there was like the yellow pages. Well, the yellow pages came out in February. And what happens if you start business in March? Oh, that's all over, because it's a year before that yellow pages is going to come out. And I think the sales guy, you had to get your ad in by like September or something like that. So even if you started in September 1st and you got your yellow page ad, it's still going to be 5 months before it's published. So I'm watching a lot of TV. Actually, I had a great tan back then. I was going to the beach. But anyway, but it takes a long time. But today, most of the advertising is digital. And so therefore, you can try, let's say, Google pay per click. And in a matter of 2 weeks, you can like put a budget out and you can test it. And you say, I'm going to test to see if Google pay per click is a good thing to do. And you do it for 2 weeks because they don't care. Everybody coming to it is a first-time person. Where it used to be, if you had an ad in a newspaper or a magazine, the salesman would say, it needs to be out there for many months. People get familiar with it and they're going to call. We don't have to do that. Everybody just Google, I need a carpet cleaner in San Jose, bam, and they go there, and that's a first-time person. So you can test out the success of Google pay-per-click in 2 weeks' time.
And so the program will help walk you through those steps?
Through how you test it, how you decide what a good return on investment. The return on investment is, how much money do you pay for a job? How much of that goes to advertise? And it goes through the whole thing. So all of these training materials, and then you go up to the training here. Let me just click on this real quick, and then we got to go look at those other options. So here's more articles on advertising, company image, growth, follow-up, answer Roby's question earlier, and social reviews. There's a lot more articles we'll be adding to this, but a lot of these were the articles that I wrote for Clean Facts magazine that were, had pretty good information in it. So that's the other place you go for information. Suck it dry. Once you read the articles, check it off, unless you feel like, oh, this is in the middle of a project and you need that for like your blueprint for where you're going. But let's drop back down to the bottom and let's go over to the business progress just to show you what those checklists are. Again, there's the one-time tasks that we're looking at now, and then the training. I'm just going to click on that again. That again, there's a lot more places for you to learn. This isn't to answer a specific task. It is for you to understand the business part better.
And to remind yourself, as a business owner, you have to keep up on these tasks. You can't just kind of sit back on your shackles for, a couple of months and expect your business to run well. You have to constantly, continually be nurturing your business. And one of those ways is by running through these tasks and reminding yourself to just get out there and do it.
Well, on these tasks here, the 99, once they're done, they're done. Unless
marketing, I remember we always looked back at the marketing saying, oh, shoot, we forgot to send out, we forgot to do our social media marketing, or we forgot to do, the thank you notes.
The parts where you have to, the systems that you have to develop. And we talk a lot about developing those systems also. But I just want to show you some of the tasks. Here is the startup. So company name, Magic Wand Carpet Cleaning. My dad came up with that. So I got that. So you'd fill that in and you check it off. Fictitious name. I got to file it so I can open a checking account. Okay, that takes you got to run down to the to the county and you got to get it published in a paper, and then you go to the bank with the little certificate that you got it. Now you can get a checking account in that name. What's your phone number? A checking account. You need liability insurance, vehicle insurance. These are things you just have to, some of these just making a phone call. And so bam, bam, I could do all of those in one day. No problem. Right? Roby, can you do that?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I do all. But so to stay on task here, I know we've covered a lot tonight and didn't get to everything, but I want to start kind of winding up because we're getting short on time. So my question to you, Steve, is why is single truck success, why is that a benefit for CFI members?
Well, really, the single truck success is a part of what you guys are doing with Success Wisdom, holding these webinars. Part of it is it's great to interact with the people who are calling in and online right now, but they're all being recorded. And a lot of these will have very specific topics. So these will actually help supplement the single truck success by giving more information. Now, there's that one other webinar that we had 2 weeks ago, Meet the Experts. That's bringing in experts in the industry. So they're talking about a very specific thing, like rug cleaning was the last one. And so they're going to talk about what it is. Maybe they'll bring in, you know, somebody from Clean Facts magazine or an instructor, but you get the top person. Where your guys' webinar, the one I love the most, is you guys are going to be interviewing business owners. And we get to see how their businesses are run. I had to start my business and I didn't work for anybody. We had to make it up. And
Yeah.
CFI, what I loved about being a CFI member is people would share with me how they're running their business. And I go, oh, you do that? Really? And then I'm writing it down. I got to do that. I hadn't thought of that one. So it's getting information like that through your webinar is really important. And I know there are going to be more webinars added. Matter of fact, I'm going to be having one that I will be doing kind of like group coaching. So instead of the webinar format we're using here, where we only see each other here as you know, the speaker, or the panelists, and you guys, that one will be like a Zoom meeting. So we can interact and I can see all the people on the call and we can answer where people are running into challenges in the system. So they all fit together. So really what it is, you guys go get the equipment and you get the cleaning solutions. CFI will teach you the technical stuff, the business stuff. We will support you. And this, single truck success sort of becomes the foundation to make this all work together. And it's a growing thing.
Absolutely. So the one thing the 99 steps, these are suggestions for business. Isn't that a lot to get started with? Or maybe should be less?
Well, the way I look at it is even people that have been in business a long time, you want to look at the 99 steps to see if you've done them all. And I have yet to find somebody that says, I've done them all. There's always probably about 10 to 15 of them they're leaving off. And if you leave them off, they're going to have problems in their business. That part of their business will not run smoothly. They may be making money, but if they were to go ahead and do that, that would make things run smoother. But I think about how many steps do I have to do if I want to go from San Jose to Disneyland in Southern California? I go, I bet you I have to fulfill at least 35 to 40 steps just to take my family to Disneyland. And it's about that easy. So if you want to go anywhere in life, you want to have any kind of excitement, you have to accomplish things. But hopefully you've seen, like we just said, where's your office going to be? In your bedroom? You're going to take a part of your family room for it? I mean, that's one of the tasks. These are not hard. And so 99, I started out with 129, and I think it was Aaron Grossclose says, oh, that's way too many. So I condensed a couple of them down, eliminated. I didn't eliminate, I joined them into it, so it's down to 99. It had to be, it's a marketing thing, 99, 900.
Hey, Steve, before we wrap this up, we've got about 2 more minutes of the topic conversation, and we've got just a couple of questions that I want to make sure get answered before we wrap up. We've got one from Bill. Hi, Bill. Nice to hear from you. Nice to see you. What are Steve's thoughts on the lifetime value of our clients? And then there's another question from Benjamin about, does this mean the Single Truck Success Program has 99 steps? I think we kind of cleared that one up. It does have 99 steps, but those steps expand on other services that need to be performed or provided.
The 99 steps are for somebody who's starting up. And again, even a company that might have 10 trucks, it would be worth their while to look at, what does Marsh think I need to have? So they need to go through and check those out. But it's all of the rest of the training up here, not the one-time task, but this other training, all these videos. the idea of source-based marketing can totally change how a multi-truck business or anybody who's been going for years. And then the follow-up, what's involved in the training, again, you want to listen to those over and over again. And Bill was asking about the value of a customer.
The thoughts of a lifetime value of our client.
Yeah, there's in some of the training here, I go through that. And the idea is that if you have a one-time customer, you barely pay for your expenses going out on the job. But a lifetime customer is one that calls back again and might refer you to somebody. That person, let's say they call back 10 times, you have no advertising expense. There's no quoting time. You don't have to go out to the house. You just book it over the phone. You go there and you almost make the entire amount from that customer. And they're repeated, let's just say every 3 years. And if you're in business 10 years, that's 10 times. The lifetime value of that one person is huge compared to a person who only calls you one time and you had to pay advertising money to get it. And so that's where you want to really focus in on who are you target marketing. And again, that's all covered in the training in this program.
Yeah, and don't forget the driving out to do the job.
That and doing it, I got sweaty. That's just.
Well, we've had some great conversations this evening. We're about to wrap it up. And before I hand it over to Roby, our president, for our closing, I just want to remind everybody that we do have another meeting coming up, or another webinar coming up on the first Wednesday of January. And that webinar is going to have a variety of different panelists. We're actually going to have 3 panelists from very successful companies, and they're going to discuss their add-on services and their upsales, which ones worked best for them, which ones didn't work quite so great for them, and talk about a different variety of upsales and add-ons that you can, implement into your business services. So join us next. I don't have the calendar in front of me, but it's the first Wednesday of the year, the first Wednesday of January at 6:00. Join Roby and I want to thank you for being here, and I'm going to pass it over to Roby.
All right.
Roby,
well,
you.
I really appreciate it. Jessica, I appreciate it. These 2 people have been a real inspiration to me. I joined the CFI years ago, and I didn't see the value in it. And I came back in 2014, and I'm here. Kind of kicking and screaming, but I'm happy to be here, proud of it. And just remember, guys, the entire single truck success system is one of the extremely valuable benefits you receive as a CFI member. So don't forget to take advantage of the $10 CFI introduction membership by visiting the CFI website at cficonnects.org. All right, guys, I appreciate it. And if you're out there and if you're considering becoming a business owner, carpet cleaner, restorator, rug cleaner, CFI is excellent, man. I cannot tell you the friendships that I have. I am proud to be the president of the CFI, and I can always remember Steve talking about all the fun times they had when we were doing our training years ago. And he would say, CFI is great. And I was like, oh, well, yeah, look where I'm at now. So I appreciate you guys. So with that, we'll see you next month. And over and out. Appreciate you guys.